The snow fell in thick sheets across New Terra's capital district, transforming the bustling colony world into a winter wonderland that reminded August of Earth's old Christmas postcards. He clutched his daughter Leilani's small hand tighter as they navigated through the evening crowd, her excited chatter about Santa Claus and presents warming him despite the bitter cold. "Daddy, look." Leilani tugged at his coat, pointing toward a narrow alley between two towering buildings. August followed her gaze and froze. Huddled against the frost-covered wall sat a small figure, distinctly non-human. The child's bluish-gray skin seemed to shimmer faintly in the dim light, and four delicate fingers clutched a bundle of what appeared to be old-fashioned wooden matches. Her oversized eyes, typical of her Keltheran species, blinked slowly as she watched the passing crowds with quiet desperation. "Matches," she whispered in heavily accented standard, her voice barely audible above the wind. "Please, matches for warmth." The irony wasn't lost on August. The Keltheran were from a desert world. They had no natural resistance to cold. And here, on humanity's prosperous colony, this child sat freezing while shoppers hurried past, too absorbed in their holiday preparations to notice. "Daddy, she's cold," Leilani said, her brown eyes wide with concern. At 7 years old, she hadn't yet learned to look away from suffering. August knelt beside his daughter. "I know, sweetheart." He'd seen too many refugees from the Keltheran homeworld lately. Their planet had been ravaged by the Dominion War 3 years ago. Most had found resettlement, but some fell through the cracks of bureaucracy and charity. He approached the alien child slowly, not wanting to startle her. "Hey there, what's your name?" The girl looked up, surprise flickering across her angular features. Most humans ignored her kind, still harboring resentment from when the Keltheran Collective had initially opposed Earth's expansion into this sector. Old prejudices died hard, even after the Keltheran had switched sides and fought alongside humanity against the Dominion. "Sira," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I'm August, and this is Leilani." He glanced at the pathetic bundle of matches, probably scavenged from some recycling unit, worthless in an age of plasma heating and energy fields. "Where are your parents, Sira?" The girl's large eyes glistened. "Gone. Ship. Explosion. 3 months ago." August's jaw tightened. He'd heard about that transport, a Keltheran refugee vessel caught in a meteor storm. 200 souls lost, mostly families seeking asylum in human space. "Have you been out here alone since then?" he asked gently. Sira nodded. "Foster center full. They say, wait list. 6 months maybe. So I sell matches. For food." She held up 3 credits. Barely enough for a single meal. Leilani tugged her father's sleeve. "Daddy, it's Christmas Eve." August looked at his daughter, then at Sira, then back at the crowds of humans hurrying home to warm houses and full tables. Something twisted in his chest. Humanity had fought so hard to prove they belonged among the stars, that they were more than the aggressive primitives other species feared. And yet, here was a child, an ally's child, freezing on their doorstep. "Not anymore," August said firmly. He stood and extended his hand to Sira. "You're coming home with us." The alien girl stared at his outstretched hand as if it were a hallucination. "Home. For Christmas, at least," August said. "And then we'll figure out something more permanent. No child should be on the streets, human or otherwise." Sira's hand trembled as she reached up, her cold fingers wrapping around his warm palm. August pulled her to her feet, noting how light she was, malnourished, definitely. He shrugged off his heavy coat and draped it over her narrow shoulders. Ignoring the immediate bite of cold, Leilani grabbed Sira's other hand. "Do you like hot chocolate?" she asked excitedly. "Daddy makes the best hot chocolate in the whole galaxy." For the first time, Sira's face showed something other than resignation, a tentative, fragile hope. The walk back to their apartment was short, but August's mind raced with logistics. He'd need to contact the refugee services first thing in the morning, probably hire a lawyer to navigate the fostering system. Money would be tight. Single fathers didn't make fortunes on construction crews, but they'd manage. They always did. Their small apartment felt warmer than usual when they arrived. While Sira stood uncertainly by the door, Leilani rushed to show her the modest Christmas tree in the corner, its lights twinkling cheerfully. "I'll make us something to eat," August said, heading to the kitchen. As he prepared a simple meal of soup and bread, protein-rich, easy to digest for someone who'd been starving. He watched the two girls through the doorway. Leilani was explaining Christmas traditions with the earnest enthusiasm only a 7-year-old could muster, while Sira listened with rapt attention, her large eyes growing wider with each detail. When Leilani placed a small wrapped gift in Sira's hands, a spare doll she'd insisted on wrapping earlier that week, the alien girl's composure finally cracked. "For me," Sira's voice broke. "Everyone gets presents on Christmas," Leilani declared matter-of-factly. "That's the rule." August turned away, his eyes stinging. This was what humanity should be, he thought. Not the warships, or the territorial expansion, or the economic dominance, but this. Kindness to those who had none. Shelter for the vulnerable. A hand extended across the vast divide between species. Later that evening, after both girls had fallen asleep on the couch, Leilani curled against Sira, who still clutched her new doll. August sat watching them. Tomorrow would bring complications. Social services, legal paperwork, the inevitable bureaucratic nightmare. Some neighbors might disapprove of an alien child in their building. But tonight, on Christmas Eve, two children slept warm and safe under his roof. One born of Earth, one born light years away under a different sun, but both simply children who deserved love and protection. August pulled a blanket over them both and smiled. Maybe humanity's greatest achievement among the stars wouldn't be measured in conquered worlds or technological marvels. Maybe it would be measured in small moments like this, in the radical, simple act of treating all beings with dignity. Outside, the snow continued to fall on New Terra, covering the city in pristine white. And in a modest apartment on the lower levels, a human single father began to understand that family wasn't about biology or species. It was about who you chose to shelter from the cold. In the corner, forgotten but no longer needed, sat a bundle of worthless matches. Sira wouldn't need to sell them anymore. She had something far more valuable now, a home, however humble, and the beginning of belonging. This, August thought, was the real spirit of Christmas, and perhaps the real spirit of humanity itself.